The truth is, people like this don't fear being disliked. They fear being seen, and you saw them completely. That's why their fury is so loud now. They can't erase what you witnessed. They can't rewrite the timeline you already lived. And they can't shake the image of your calm expression when you let them know, without saying much at all, "I knew everything." That look alone was enough to shatter their illusion. Here's the brutal reality they don't want to face. The softness they mocked is the same quality that destroyed them. Your ability to listen, to care, to pick up what others miss. That's what made you dangerous. They thought sensitivity made you fragile, but in reality it made you unshakable because you weren't reacting from impulse, you were responding from knowledge. You weren't flailing in confusion, you were waiting for the right moment to strike. And when you did, it was already too late for them. And now they sit in the ruins of their own arrogance. They replay every conversation, every fake smile, every staged act of kindness, wondering which part gave them away. They lie awake, furious, not just because you escaped their trap, but because you never fell for it in the first place. That's the wound that won't heal. That's the humiliation they can't shake. And deep down, they know they'll never be able to fool you again. So let this burn into your spirit. Their mistake was assuming your silence meant ignorance. But silence is not stupidity. Silence is power. Silence is patience. Silence is the slow, steady sharpening of the blade. And when it finally strikes, it doesn't need noise to make an impact. It leaves scars they'll carry forever. They thought you were 10 steps behind. In reality, you were 10 steps ahead. And that's why they're furious now, because they didn't just lose the game. They never even realized you were the one writing the rules all along. Number 2, you let them build their own cage and lock the door. The greatest punishment for a deceiver is not to be stopped early. It's to be allowed to finish the masterpiece of their own downfall. They thought you were passive. They thought you were too slow to catch on. Every time they moved a piece into place, they looked at each other with smug smiles, as if you were walking blindly into their snare. What they didn't realize was that you weren't stumbling forward. You were watching, step by step, letting them reveal every hidden card, every trick, every intention. You didn't interrupt the performance. You gave them the stage. And in doing so, you gave them enough room to hang themselves with their own script. Exposure requires completion. A half-built lie can still be hidden, but a finished trap reveals its maker. Imagine this: someone setting up a mousetrap in the middle of the room. If you stop them halfway, they'll hide it, cover their tracks, pretend they never intended harm. But if you let them finish, if you let them walk away, thinking they've built the perfect snare, the evidence stands on its own. That's exactly what you did. You let them complete the setup so that when the truth surfaced, there would be no escape, no denial, no "you're just overreacting." You let their arrogance become the nails in their own coffin. And that's what terrifies them most right now. Not just that you didn't fall for it, but that you let them go so far they expose themselves completely. Had you confronted them early, they would have laughed it off. They would have played dumb, flipped the script, painted you as dramatic, paranoid, unstable. You know the routine. You've seen it before. But you didn't give them that chance this time. You held your tongue. You gave them rope. And when their mask finally slid off, there was no way to glue it back on. Patience is not weakness, it's strategy. Silence is not ignorance, it's evidence gathering. Think about it. Isn't that what makes your power so unsettling to them, that calm refusal to interrupt their play? While they were plotting, you were documenting. While they were staging generosity, you were clocking how their body language never matched their words. While they were faking concern, you noticed the delay in their eyes, the stiffness in their smile, the way their interest in your life appeared out of nowhere, like a performance written on cue cards. They thought you were nodding along, buying the act. But you were the audience member who had already read the script. And here's the question they're asking themselves now. If they saw through this, what else did they see? That's the paranoia chewing them alive. because they know this wasn't the first scheme. They know this wasn't the first time they staged something against you, but this time they were caught red-handed, and once someone proves they can see behind the curtain, the illusion is broken forever. Imagine this, a spider spinning its web with perfect precision, believing the fly is already trapped. But when the light hits, the spider realizes it's the one tangled in its own threads. That's the scene they're stuck in. They thought the web was for you. They didn't realize they were the ones standing in the center, exposed, unable to move without tearing apart the very trap they built. That's the beauty of your strategy. You didn't resist. You didn't thrash. You simply let them keep weaving until their own pride made escape impossible. And now, with the spotlight shining, the whole stage reveals not your fall, but their design. And tell me, chosen one, doesn't it feel almost poetic to know that the same arrogance they used to mock you is the very thing that destroyed them? They believed patience meant weakness. They believed empathy meant blindness. They believed silence meant stupidity. But you weaponized all three. You let them think they were in control, and that false confidence pushed them into overexposure. They overplayed their hand. They showed their tells. And when the curtain dropped, they were the only ones left standing guilty under the light. Now they can't explain it away. It's too obvious, too detailed, too well documented. Their hands are dirty, and there's no washing them clean. And here's what makes their rage burn even hotter. You didn't respond with the chaos they expected. You didn't beg for clarity. You didn't fight to stay in their narrative. You walked out with composure, clarity, and that terrifying smile that said, "I saw everything, and I don't even need revenge." The worst defeat is not when your enemy fights back. It's when they walk away, leaving you exposed in your own mess.